C-69 makes projects like these very difficult, if not impossible, to get approved at all. Enough. This gatekeeping and red tape was devastating to Canada before Donald Trump threatened tariffs on our economy. Now it is an act of economic suicide. That's why I am announcing today that my government will set a goal to green-light all federal permits for the Ring of Fire in Northern Ontario within 6 months to harvest chromite, cobalt, nickel, copper, and platinum. We will also make a commitment of $1 billion over 3 years to the construction of a long overdue road connecting First Nations communities and the critical mineral deposits in the Ring of Fire to the Ontario Highway Network. We will let companies investing in the Ring of Fire pay a share of their federal corporate taxes to local First Nations. And as NATO has identified these critical minerals as essential towards our collective defense, some of our government's investments in this road and this project will count towards the calculation of Canada hitting its 2% of GDP expenditure on defense. We will make this money available by cutting back on wasteful foreign aid that often goes to dictators, terrorists, and global bureaucracies. We'll cut bureaucracy through attrition here at home, freeing up money for productive investments that create paychecks for our people and independence for our economy. Only a Canada First Conservative government will rapidly approve projects like these. We'll quickly repeal C-69, the anti-resource law the Liberals still have in place. Only a Conservative government will approve mines, pipelines, mills, LNG plants, more ports, and better export opportunities to diversify our economy and make us independent from the Americans. And by partnering with First Nations to deliver our world-class resources, we will bring home powerful paychecks for all Canadians. That's how we will put Canada first. Let's bring it home.
Northern Ontario needs that Ring of Fire pretty desperately, and I'm going to talk about it today. Welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie A.B. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into today's video. So let's talk about Northern Ontario because I love living here, okay? But it does not come without the sacrifices that it takes to live in Northern Ontario, whether that be an extremely short gardening season unless you have a greenhouse, okay? The 8 months of winter, the 1 month of bugs. I believe it's worth the 3 months of beautiful weather because Southern Ontario's heat is hotter than Satan's butt crack, and I will stand by that, okay? It is, and it's horrible. Down south is, I'm just saying, it seems like there are some strange clouds. If you know, you know. But as I was saying before, every single Northern Ontario town is becoming a story of Route 66, okay? We used to be booming. People used to live up here just as much as they lived down south because we had tons of mining, tons of logging, all of these different things. Now, I will say that it is good that there were some restrictions put on these things, okay? You cannot just open up a mine in the middle of a town anymore, which is what they legitimately used to do. And you cannot just put a factory by a town and let a bunch of people die from cancer, okay, anymore. There's regulations that we have in place, and thankfully those are, you know, what keeps Canada a top place to get clean energy from. But Northern Ontario struggles, okay? Not only have we gone through so much forest fire and, you know, the locals are being told to not put those fires out. I'm just saying, remember when the sky was orange? Yeah, usually those fires get put out, not left all summer for us to die in, okay? Because the first summer, my first full summer up here was completely filled with smoke. It was awful. It was so my first summer here was filled with smoke, and some of the locals were saying that the Ministry of something or other was not letting them put out the fires. And there was just a constant stream of smoke up here during, I think it was 2023 summer. And it was BS. Nobody cares about us. Nobody cares. Cobalt was on fire last year again, like the outskirts of Cobalt. And do you think that we got a prayers up for Cobalt? No, because nobody gives a crap about us. Even when we were heavily on fire, everyone was only talking about how it was northeastern or northwestern Quebec, but it was also northeastern Ontario that was very much on fire. Honestly, I did my research. When I chose to move to Northern Ontario, it was because I had been listening to Pierre. I had heard about the Ring of Fire, heard about this, and this. I knew that people up here got paid fairly for their hardcore jobs that there are up here, okay? You're either working in mining or logging up here. And when all of those stop, when mining businesses and, logging businesses stop investing in Northern Ontario because of red tape, it really kills off the communities that we have. I mean, we have food deserts right now. Temagami, there's no working grocery store during the winter. It's only during the summer. And if it wasn't for the bus that takes people from Cobalt to Walmart on the other side of Diamond, people in Cobalt wouldn't have an accessible grocery store either. Charlie Angus has failed. Like, here's the thing. If you're going to be a radical about climate change, okay, whatever. Don't let businesses invest, even though you're killing off so many jobs in the community. But not even investing in tourism. Okay, this is people will go to get Instagram photos. Okay, they will drive in Ontario. They'll see a viral video of someplace in friggin' America, and they'll hop in their vehicles and go, this is Devil's Rock. Giant cliff. Super cool, super fun. Don't take kids there. But not even tourism has been invested in Northern Ontario. Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives have been the only people that I have heard that genuinely seem to give a crap about Northern Ontario. Even talking about Northern Ontario. Because Pierre Poilievre is right when he says that our communities are starved. We are. Like, the fact that we used to have, okay, I don't want to say the Dion quintuplet situation was a good thing, because it wasn't, but maybe replace a amusement park that was geared towards looking at a human zoo. I don't know. Let's invest in another amusement park. I mean, we do have Santa's Village, but they got rid of the only play place that we had in northeastern Ontario, gone. The McDonald's play place, gone. Oh, gee, thanks. We love this updated bougie version of McDonald's, and now we have nowhere to take our kids. That's great. We have the world's largest abandoned building in northeastern Ontario, and some TLC show was supposedly taking it over, but I don't know where they are, because it says coming spring 2024. And we're heading into spring 2025. So I'm not sure that project's going to take off either. Okay. Northern Ontario towns are filled with buildings that are empty, abandoned. I noticed that some buildings are starting to get filled up again, but for the most part, we got a renovation in our mall, and we got another Heart store. That's not clothing. It's not clothing. So we have two places for clothing in New Liskeard, Giant Tiger, and Walmart, and a little bit of Joe Fresh. Okay. But Northern Ontario's towns barely have any businesses, and the only ones that we do have are Loblaws. So when everyone's like, boycott Loblaws, okay, so we'll just not eat. Some people will just not eat. Like, the seniors in my town just won't eat, I guess, because they'll just boycott Loblaws. Like, get real. Everybody who lives in Southern Ontario has this imagination of what Northern Ontario looks like, and it is nothing like what they seem. We should be our own province, truly. Okay, because tell me why there's $42 billion in revenue in the climate change or carbon tax, okay, which is supposed to go towards, climate change shit, and tell me why there's nothing up here to warn us about forest fires when they're happening. We can't even look online, because unless it's not like everybody goes to social media, but social medias aren't allowed to share the news, so we're not even allowed to know when there's a forest fire nearby. The only reason I knew was because I checked the active map last time and found out that there was one 15, or was I, Did I check the active map or did I check the police scanner? It was one of those two things. But that is, I'm sorry, if you're collecting a tax to put us into poverty, I'm sorry, why is there no system? Like, I'm standing there packing my bags. We always have a bag packed in the summer because of it. And I'm scared of not being able to afford a hotel. Why should I be scared of that if the carbon tax is taking $42 billion? It should be going to people who are displaced by climate change. Blah, blah, blah. Northern Ontario towns have gone without doctors because of the mandates, and I hope that that's something Pierre still plans on putting that bill through when he gets in. That's if the doctors want to come back after being brutally harassed to give up their patients' confidentiality to the federal government. They wouldn't, and that's why they don't have a job. So it'd be nice if the federal government could come in and make sure that that can no longer happen to people, so people are not being discriminated against because of an experiment. I took a risk when we took a risk when we moved to Northern Ontario, banking on Pierre getting in, and I am not even kidding you, because I have been listening to this man and his plans for years. Okay, he is a smart person. He wants to invest in the right things. When I look and I see things like, hold on. When I read this book, okay, I couldn't help but notice that they use their like all of their citizens are very, very, I would say environmentally conscious, but it doesn't take them to a point where the ideology doesn't let them sell off their natural resources, and that's how they achieve these amazing lives in, was it Denmark? Yeah. Okay, I wondered, where does capitalism and socialism actually work? And then socialism as in just social programs, right? Because I am somebody who is a success story from social programs. I think that they work. I think that we are meant to help out community, okay? I don't believe in socialism. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that if we help out people to get them off their feet, obviously, inevitably, there will be people that do not get off their feet, okay? And there will be people who are legitimately disabled and whom deserve to have help, okay? The only way that we can be a successful country, because I did my due diligence. Did I want to become an American or did I want to stay Canadian? And when you think about Canada before Trudeau and you think about Canada now and you think about America and America now, okay? America went bad to even worse with Biden. And I don't think America was doing that bad under Trump, I will say that. But like, guys, they pay out their asses to have kids, okay? The baby bonus, I didn't even know I was going to get it, and it saved my life. It helped me be able to go to college, get my dream job that obviously was taken away from me. But I do believe in social programs because they could work. I think we're at a point right now where Canadians are so starved that they can't imagine a time where we help other people out, and I completely understand that. And not only that, if we did what we're doing for people, foreigners, immigrants, if we did that for the people who are struggling with drug addiction or homelessness, think about how much their lives would change and how much we could get people back on their feet. But instead, we just keep bringing people over here, giving them all the resources and starving and letting our people die on the streets and literally giving them the methods to do so. I have known that I've wanted to stay Canadian for a while now, because I will tell you that them freezing those bank accounts is what lit a fire under my ass to move up north. And I know that sounds silly because I'm still in Canada, but I realized that being in Southern Ontario was, well, quite frankly, the most, if you can put two and two together, it's heavily populated. Trudeau continued to put a threat on our backs, okay? And I thought moving to Northern Ontario would be the safest place to go. Now, I didn't account for forest fires, I will say that. But yeah, like, I moved to Northern Ontario because we were either going to move to the States or move to Northern Ontario. That was it. And we did it out. And even, like trips to the emergency room, depending on which one of my children, could put us into debt entirely, okay? And I understand what's going on now. I'm not talking about 10 years of Trudeau's Canada. I'm talking about the Canada that we grew up in, Okay, I'm talking about that sort of Canada. So when I hear Pierre talking about the Ring of Fire and what potential that Northern Ontario has, and I know that he believes in us. He's literally gone door to door up here. That's why I was so shocked when our candidate dropped out, because she was very much campaigning all the time, doing great things. So I still haven't heard of anybody replacing her, but it's just nice to know that even the leader of our country will know the value that Northern Ontario has. And I think that that's a massive strategy that Pierre has nailed and knocked out of the park, is actually going and talking to real life Canadians, because Liberals never will. NDP does, but Liberals never will. Okay. And this ploy, okay, with, throwing Pierre under the bus, Mark Carney, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I ignore the noise. Yes, you should listen sometimes, because of course you're going to need to hear what the other side is saying for the week. But for the most part, I just have to ignore the noise, because I watched Kamala's campaign be propagandized right in front of my face and her lose by a lot. Okay, Kamala was supposed to be in the polls ahead of Trump. Okay, and same with Clinton. So polls are polls, they're not the actual election. Northern Ontario communities deserve this, and I really hope Pierre gets in and we see them thriving again, whether that be tourism, the mines, whatever it is, that we finally get businesses here and that it's safely done, because the Liberals have been studying this crap for the last 10 years and not allowing anything done. We actually do have all of the blueprints or whatever, and Indigenous people have been leading the way on helping guide them on where it would be safely put and stuff like that. And if Pierre actually introduces tax cuts, that'll change everything for Northern Ontarians as well. I don't know if I said this in my video, because I made 2 different videos today, but my husband makes more now than we did combined down south, but he takes home less because of how much we're taxed and how much groceries cost and how much everything costs, because to have a mortgage is to have a car payment is to have a second mortgage these days. So yeah, it'll change Northern Ontario's lives for the better, and I truly hope that we get someone in here that cares about us, not another Charlie Angus, not another Anthony Rota, someone who believes in Northern Ontario. Because why do I feel like I care about Northern Ontario as someone who moved here almost 4 years ago more than the people who live and are supposed to be representing us? That's why I was so stoked to vote for Cassidy, because she genuinely seemed like she loved the North. But I digress. If I were her, I'd put my safety before anything as well. And I am excited to see what comes to Northern Ontario. Hopefully Thornlow cheese comes back. Let me tell you that. So I wanted to do a Northern Ontario video today because my kids are home for the 2nd day in a row, because we got like another 40 centimeters of snow in the last 2 days, and now it's freezing rain. So springtime in Northern Ontario. But I digress. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for watching this video.